Okay, so here we are. This is the third part of the Online Learner's Guide to Learning Online. This section revolves around communication skills and preferences. Some of the key questions students need to ask themselves are my reading comprehension skills strong? Am I comfortable with others reading my work? Am I able to transfer my ideas into words fairly well? And do I like to learn by participating with others in a group? So the first thing that we need to focus on is reading comprehension. Unlike in a traditional university style setting, many classes online will require you to gain the information by reading it. When I was going to college, what I would do is go to class and I would absorb the information that the professor was giving me. I would write it down in notes, and then I would review those notes because basically that is where I would get my information was from the professor. But in the online virtual learning environment, especially in the asynchronous environment, you have to rely on gaining the information yourself. That requires a lot of reading and a lot of basically being able to read a book, understand its main key points, and basically remember those main points for a later date. So basically, that's one thing to consider. You need to take into account that online learning will require a lot of reading. Okay, another thing that you need to realize is that in an online environment, collaboration and communication, whether you're in synchronous or asynchronous, excuse me, will require collaborating with your peers and the instructor. A lot of people, or some people, actually are not comfortable putting their work out for others to see. But in the online environment, I like to view the participants and the instructor as basically a bunch of little pieces whose sum is equal than its parts. I think I said that right. But basically, you can get this kind of synergy when everyone is communicating and collaborating in a way where everyone is sharing experiences and education. You need to feel comfortable with sharing your work with others, basically, because people will rely on you. They will rely on your experiences and your expertise to basically add to the whole, which is the class. Okay. The third thing which you need to make sure that you're comfortable with, which is kind of the same thing in a traditional format, a university setting, is you need to watch your writing skills. A lot of times, in previous classes I have attended, there's a lot of writing basically because you're required to read the assigned material and then basically to show that you understand the presented concepts, you need to write a paper talking about, okay, this is what I learned, this is the context in which I applied it to my personal life. Basically, you need to just make sure that you're able to easily transcribe your ideas onto paper. Understanding essay format and stuff like that. You just want to make sure that you understand how to write properly. And the last thing you want to ask yourself is kind of going off of the second point. You want to ask yourself, do I like to learn by participating with others in a group? Again, in the online environment, collaboration is probably one of the most important things because it allows you to share your experiences with the 20, 30 other people inside the course. And likewise, every other individual is contributing as well. So basically, in an online course, it's drastically different from a usual traditional style classroom, at the university, in which it's like you have the professor up at the front and he's dispersing information out to 30 or 40 people. The online classroom is not usually like that. Like I said, it requires that the learners participate a lot more in shaping their own education. So what you need to do is basically just you need to be able to have those communication skills, um, which which uh, which will show that you can communicate with your peers and help them understand, and basically give them your experiences and education in a manner which helps them, and they will do the same with you. Um, and another thing to consider in the online environment, this has a lot of problems. Has presented a lot of problems for people in the past. What you need to be aware of is when you're typing to people, they can't see your facial expressions or your body language. So basically, if you're trying to write a joke or something, it may not come across as a joke, or it may come across as sarcasm. So that is another thing that people need to take into account in these discussion board postings and email messages and stuff like that. Basically, you need to be able to realize that this nonverbal element is missing. So just definitely be careful, and as a precaution, give people the benefit of the doubt, because sometimes, like I said, it may come across as a sarcastic remark, but it in fact isn't. So definitely, as the writer and the reader, try to keep that in mind. So again, just summarizing the main points of communication skills and preferences. You just want to make sure that you understand that as an online learner, it will require a lot of reading, because for the most part, you will be required to gather your own information by reading it. A professor will not usually disperse it as in a traditional format. So that reading skills and reading comprehension skills are definitely something which you need to have. Another one is your communication skills with other learners. You need to realize that people in an online environment are highly collaborative, and they will rely on you to help contribute to the whole. Excuse me again. What you want to do is make sure that you are comfortable communicating your life experiences and such. And then again, kind of going back to the third point, which was writing comprehension skills. Just like in a traditional format, this will require that you have to write papers and you have to develop PowerPoint presentations. And basically, you need to you need to know how to write properly. Because even though this is online, it's going back to that original point that it is kind of like a traditional university in the fact that your instructors or your instructor will hold you to that same standard. So that is definitely another thing to consider. But in the end, when it comes to communication skills and preferences, just realize that as an added point, you will be missing that nonverbal element, which a lot of people take for granted in a face-to-face environment. So when you're writing your posts and you're reading posts, just try to give people the benefit of the doubt and be cautious, because other people might take a joke very seriously.